Okay, I think we've got audio now.
Sweet.
Hopefully everything's streaming now and you can hear us. I've been giving people time to show up. We've had a meeting announced for noon today, and I get people run late sometimes and things happen, and so we also can't set up in this room until our slot starts at 12. So we'll just start the meeting at 12:30 today. Welcome to the September 2025 Central Arkansas Harp Society meeting. Hopefully, if everything's set up correctly, you can hear me, and I'm hoping that we have audio on both the Facebook and the YouTube page. Since it's just one officer here today, I can't really mess with the computer settings and do that at the same time, so we're just going to have to fly by the seat of our pants and hope that everything's going out. If not, there should be a recording locally I can post later if it doesn't work. And so we have a couple of items on the agenda. As you can see, there's only one officer here, so we don't have a quorum, so we can't actually decide business today, but we can talk about business and ratify it at a later date. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to talk about. One is just an announcement on, the Harp Show coming up 2 weekends from today. I think it's October 3rd and 4th.
October 3rd and 4th.
And looking for help on the table there. And so that'll be, again, October 3rd and 4th. If you'd like to sign up for help, you can message me individually, or we can start a thread on the Facebook page. That'll work as well. And if you want to brainstorm, come up with ideas and come up with a schedule, that's great. I plan on being there both days full time, so the table will have coverage regardless. But I do invite people out there to come say hello, meet our members, and help us educate. And so that would be greatly beneficial if we can get some help on that. And then the second item we were going to talk about is we had a member, you are probably familiar with Taylor. He has proposed that we have a fall trip. And so what I was going to do, since he has stepped up and wants to take charge on the fall trip, I think that we should go ahead and my recommendation would make him the chairman of the fall trip committee, and we can arrange things through him that way. And Taylor, if you don't mind, if you have a couple of things to say about what you'd like to do on the fall trip and what some of the goals are and what kind of input you'd like to have from members, I'll go ahead and give you the floor.
Well, I would like to first put out there a few different locations to explore, along with what is some of the more sought after species in those locations. And this will give a broad range to all the members as to what would be more comfortable for everybody. That would also, after that's decided in a couple, 2-3 weeks, what the safety plans would be for those locations, being some are cliffs, some are very long flat woodlands, and each environment requires a different level of safety and precautions, especially when some environments are consisted of a lot of cottonmouths and few non-venomous, or a lot of non-venomous and very few venomous. And that would just all depend on what the society members decide to go with. And if you want to look for coach whips, some places are not that bad to traverse, but if you're wanting to look for rattlesnakes, that's going to be a bit more of a hike and a lot rougher terrain. But again, we're going to move forward with what we choose. We're going to move forward on the herp trip based on what the society members would like to do the most.
And just a little bit of other info on that. We've had trips in the past, and this is completely voluntary. We're not making anybody go out there. We're not wanting anybody to be uncomfortable, and everybody knows their own physical individual limitations better than anybody else. And so we don't want anybody to put themselves in any danger or any situation that they don't feel safe. And really this trip is more about a couple of members are, probably going to be going out this fall. And if you want to hang around, we're going to be on public land. We can't run you off, and we're not trying to run you off, but we just want to kind of keep this in the context that there will probably be people out there to help you, but you're responsible for your own food, drink, safety protocol. We'll help out, in some areas where we can, like if we know something, but you should not rely on the Central Arkansas Harp Society for your safety on any of these trips. And essentially, we're a leaderless group of like-minded individuals and common adventurers. And so feel free to come out and herp on some of the public land that this state has, and hopefully enjoy some time, with friends. And just keep in mind it's at your own risk type situation. Nobody knows your limitations better than you do.
Sounds good to me.
And of course, we can have group discussion on the Facebook page and do more there. And I just had a phone notification to make sure it's nothing. Oh, it's YouTube letting me know that we're live.
Did it just go live?
Yeah, oh, it is live. It was just a past notification. I didn't realize that it was going to notify me of that. One of the topics that has come up, and this has both come up from the group officers as well as group members, and there have been posts in the past that have been removed in the recent past that were feeding videos, and there has been an officer discussion on it. I was hoping we'd have a quorum of officers here today so we could actually vote and make a policy for the Facebook page on what that is, but I also want to give opportunity for group members to have input where appropriate. There have been at least 2 individuals who, one of the posts I removed personally because of officer chat, and I gave the individual the reasoning for it. They have asked for further clarification on that, and so that's part of what I was going to do today, was allow further clarification. That member is not here currently, but there was another member here that wanted to have some input on it, and ultimately it's up to the officers, but I want to have group input, and I want it to be, all decisions to be as made out in the open as possible. And so Taylor is asked to have some input on what he feels the validity of feeding videos are in the Facebook page, and so I was going to give him an opportunity to talk about that.
All right, so feeding videos as far as reptiles go it's in 2 sections. You've got feeding in captivity, and you've got natural feeding videos that are extremely rare to walk upon out in the wild. The feeding videos in captivity, especially ones that I've posted with native venomous reptiles, is purely educational. I do not show videos of them being envenomated, but it really goes to show that some of these snakes will prey upon an adult squirrel, and that these snakes are opportunistic feeders. They will also eat a very small mouse or an adult squirrel, and you don't get to see native venomous snake feeding videos hardly ever because it's a very extremely rare occurrence in the state. As far as things like king snakes, those are a bit more common. Myself, I've only seen 4 times, and the other member that had brought that up to the attention, he had only seen it the 1 time he posted. In captivity, though, we can censor it a bit, just showing the snake feed, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's no difference than showing a basking behavior or a reaction to an environmental change in an enclosure. But in the wild, because it is such a rare occurrence that needs to be documented, as far as I know, there's only been 1 documented rattlesnake feeding video, or 1 documented video of a coach with eating a rattlesnake this year, and it was in Oklahoma. These videos, when you come across them or you get the chance to film them in the wild, it needs to be filmed, it needs to be documented, and it needs to be posted under educational contents. It's not controversial. It's no different than any animal eating in the wild. A lion, a tiger, an alligator, a bird, none of those are any different than finding a snake in the wild as it's feeding. And that at its core is education in itself. Not only to have the rare occurrence of finding that, but documenting it also to show people that this king snake is not only going to feed on venomous snakes. That's one thing I've heard. They'll only eat the venomous snakes. No, they'll eat every snake. And those are that's primarily the species that both me and the other group member had found were speckled king snakes feeding on non-venomous species like a plain belly, a ribbon snake, and a garter snake. And I know some videos of feeding are controversial in the hobby, but these are natural occurrences, and that doesn't make them controversial. That makes it a natural observation, and that is a core educational point.
Okay, and with that in mind, what I'm going to ask of you as members is, let's don't get this as a drawn out contest on Facebook on the group page. I would rather have us have, people can, sometimes can get misinterpreted when speaking online. I think it'd be best that we have a mature discussion among multiple individuals at a future date and have the officers vote on what the policy is going to be on the Facebook page, just out of pure transparency. And it's ultimately up to the officers, but I do want the members to feel like they've been heard on this, because I've had multiple members come to me and show concern. So please, like I said, let's don't get this into a argument and get into each other on the Facebook page. Let's sit down and talk as individuals in person, hopefully at a future meeting with better attendance. But since we did have a member here today that has been subject to having some of the videos removed, like anybody else that wants to show up, I want to give the membership a voice and let them know that they have input in the society. And I apologize, I've kind of lost my voice a little bit. I've been sick been recovering from sickness from the last couple of weeks, so having a little bit of trouble talking and have a little bit reduced lung capacity at the moment. But with that, unless there's any other comments from anybody here that's in the room, hearing none. Taylor, do you have any other comments?
As far as feeding goes?
Well, no, just in general, just any other business. We've already talked about. We've talked about the feeding. We've talked about the fall trip, and we've talked about volunteers for the show. And
that pretty much covers it. Unless anybody on the page, do you know if anybody on the page has commented?
I can try to look. It's kind of hard to do all this at the same time. I'll try to pull up the stream. I hope it doesn't cause a loop and echo or do anything weird, feedback.
Yeah, we do have somebody.
Yep. Looks like we have a comment from Miranda, and she has input on the feeding video. And again, I appreciate the input, and hopefully we can all sit down, at a future meeting and discuss this with as many members as possible, and we can kind of go from there on that.
She did bring up a great point, especially on the feeding there. Ball python breeders and any snake breeder that's out there that has ever bred snakes has encountered snakes that will not eat and decline quickly and will be needed to assist feed. That assist feeding will keep these snakes alive, and it will also give them a chance to start feeding on their own. And that is definitely a skill that needs to be posted on how to do properly for anybody that in the future wants to breed snakes. And if they're serious about breeding snakes, they're going to encounter a snake that needs to be assist fed. Assist feeding a non-venomous snake is not as dangerous as assist feeding a venomous snake, but if those come up in the group, that is a very crucial skill to learn to keep your animals alive, basically.
As well as what can cause them to be in a condition to require the assist feeding, and
yes.
when it's too soon and when it's too far.
Yes.
So I do think there are some points that have been brought up by the membership in general. And so, like I said, this meeting was to talk about, so I in no way am saying anything negative about the input that there's been from members on the group video here. But I do ask that let's not get it into a knockdown, drag out on the Facebook page, but hopefully have a discussion about this and other group rules that people may think are appropriate or inappropriate, and we can kind of go from there at an in-person meeting. I think that's probably the fairest thing that I can do for you as the CAHS president. So with that, hearing nothing else on any other topic or no other business, I will go ahead and end the stream, and we hope to see you in the future. Y'all have a good day.